One of the most painful things that can happen to you when you are trying to recover from a narcissistic relationship is when the narcissist moves on and replaces you before you've even had a chance to process what's happened. This can really send your mind into a whirlwind of questions like, is the narcissist treating the new person better? If I had just waited a little bit longer, would they have changed? What's the narcissist saying about me? Do they miss me? Was there anything I could have done to stop this? And how could they move on so quickly when I am still in so much pain? I'm going to address a lot of these questions and hopefully provide you some insight that might ease your pain a little bit if this is what you're going through right now. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. Firstly, in this video, if this is something that you're going through, I want to validate your pain. Seeing a narcissist move on so quickly is extremely painful for many different reasons. People on the outside might not understand. They might see this as an abusive relationship that came to an end. Why would you be so sad about this? Or maybe they would just see it as a breakup. People move on. You got to get over it. But this is not a simple breakup, and when you are replaced so quickly with such contempt, it just adds salt to the wounds. And that's part of why this hurts so much. The breakup itself is a huge shock. For narcissistic relationships, this wasn't really something that you saw coming, or it wasn't something that really made sense as it was coming at you. Some narcissists will dump somebody out of the blue with no warning at all and just take off. And this can be so disorienting and shocking and heartbreaking that to add seeing them move on to a new relationship, like the day after they were professing their never-ending love for you, is just so painful and just it makes you wonder if you imagined the whole thing or if you are crazy. When normal people end a relationship, there's usually at least a little bit of respect or a little bit of empathy. I think that when a normal person ends a relationship and for whatever reason moves on very quickly to another relationship, that person is going to at least put a little effort into not rubbing it in the other person's face. They're going to have a little bit of decency and empathy, even if this is the situation, even if they replace their partner quickly. They're not going to use that to hurt their former partner even more. But narcissists will use this thing that they've done to somebody that thought they cared about them in order to hurt them more for no apparent reason. And when narcissists seem to be looking for reasons to kick you when you're down and rub salt in your wounds and make you hurt more when you really don't even have room to hurt any more than you already do, when they do this, they will also project onto you the idea that you deserve it. It's like drowning and somebody is pushing you under the water as you are trying to come to the surface. And it's so bewildering because the narcissist has done so many things to hurt you, and this is like the last big insult, and they're trying to convince you that it's your fault. And there's really nowhere to run from this. There's no way to defend yourself. Every time you try to communicate or try to understand what's happening and why this person is doing this to you, they just turn it around and twist it and come up with all of these crazy reasons that you have brought this onto yourself. This is all on top of a broken heart. This is all on top of losing something that felt like so much more than what it really was. And this is all on top of something that may have become a trauma bond, which really is basically an addiction. So when you are dealing with the breakup of a narcissistic relationship in which you had a trauma bond and the narcissist moves on quickly to a new relationship And the narcissist rubs that in your face and makes sure that you can see that and that you know that the narcissist blames you for everything. You are basically dealing with the withdrawal of an emotional addiction. You're dealing with the heartbreak of losing a relationship. You're dealing with being blamed for something that you probably put an enormous amount of effort into trying to save. And people wonder why you're taking it so hard. And do you wonder why it hurts so much? This was somebody that you should have been able to trust. It was somebody you probably did trust. This was probably somebody that demanded loyalty from you and has now exposed themselves as somebody that has no loyalty towards you. So let me move on to answer some of the questions that I mentioned in the introduction to kind of help you see what's really happening here and maybe help ease the pain a little bit. I think a big question that can haunt you is, has the narcissist changed? Is the narcissist giving more of themselves to the new person than they did to you? If you had just waited a little longer, would things have worked out? Or if you had just tried a little harder, would the narcissist have stayed? I want to make it very clear that when you are dealing with somebody that has habitually abused you, that has refused to listen to you, when you have begged them to be nicer or to communicate or to explain why they are angry, when you have dealt with somebody that treated you this way, they have not changed. If they were to change, they would come to you and offer a heartfelt apology without asking anything in return from you. They would just let you know that they're very sorry and that they're sorry that they hurt you. They would certainly not move on to a new relationship, rub it in your face, tell lies about you and exaggerations, blame you for everything, and make you feel worse than you already do. If they're doing that to you, then they obviously haven't changed. And are they treating the new person better? Probably. They're probably treating them the way that they treated you in the beginning of the relationship. And things are going to end badly for the new person as well. Now, if you start wondering things like, if I had waited a little longer, or if I had tried a little harder, maybe things would have worked out. Healthy relationships don't require waiting for the relationship to become tolerable. And they don't require a bunch of effort in order to make the relationship tolerable. You should not have to put any effort into being treated with respect. You should be treated with respect because you're in a relationship with a decent human being. So there's no amount of effort that you can put into a relationship that will stop an abuser from being abusive. And if the narcissist makes you feel like you should have tried harder or that there were more things you should have done, that's a red flag right there that's telling you that nothing would have ever been enough, because nothing should have ever been required from you in order to be treated with respect. And we can look at the question of, what if I had waited a little longer, the same way? Well, how much time do you want to spend with somebody that will never treat you like you matter? How long do you want to wait? You do much better to look for somebody that already knows how to respect people, because your chances are astronomically higher that you'll be able to find someone that already knows how to respect people than the chances that if you wait around long enough, this narcissist will magically change into somebody that is a completely different person. Now, this question you might ask yourself of, how could the narcissist move on so quickly? I'm still reeling from pain and shock, and they just move on like it was nothing, like I didn't even matter. I don't want to downplay how much this hurts. I know that this is pain that feels like your insides are being turned inside out. Like, this is pain that you don't even know how you can hold, how you can even tolerate it. I know that this is really, really, really painful. But I really want to get the point across that all of this pain is not appropriate to the actual loss. This is an illusion. These are tricks your mind is playing on you that come from the addictive nature of the relationship. The relationship was not worth anything near the pain that you're feeling when it ends. The reason the narcissist moves on so quickly is because the relationship didn't really mean that much to the narcissist. It never did. The narcissist thinks the relationship is worth a lot in the beginning because the narcissist doesn't understand what should be valuable in a relationship. And this is part of the reason that you really have not lost anything valuable. You've lost something that you felt was very valuable. You lost something that you valued enormously, but it really didn't have any value. Those were illusions. And the lack of value comes from the fact that your partner didn't value the relationship even a fraction of the way that you did, which you can see in how quickly they move on. To a narcissist, a relationship is like a shiny new toy or a shiny new car. And in the beginning, they really think that this is it. It's really similar to the way that some people will sit and chase material things or chase certain goals, thinking that I'm going to be happy as soon as I have enough money to buy a new house, or as soon as I get a new job, or as soon as I graduate. That's when I'm going to be happy. And of course, as many of us know, that's not really how you find happiness. You find happiness through the journey of life. You find happiness in what you have today. You find happiness as you learn to find happiness in everything that you have in life. But narcissists definitely don't understand this, and I don't think many of them are capable of understanding this or learning how to do it. And every new relationship that they get into in their mind is like that thing that's going to make them happy, that thing that's finally going to solve all of their emotional problems that they don't even realize that they have. So a new relationship is a shiny new object, and that's all it ever is. They cannot see the person behind the shiny object. They cannot get to know anyone. They cannot trust anyone. They cannot love. They cannot connect. And so when the initial thrill wears off, when they realize, oh, this is like when you buy a brand new car, when you realize, oh, this is just a car, just like any other car. I mean, it was really cool at first, but I mean, I'm still just driving a car. That's how the narcissist feels with their relationships. But when a narcissist runs into that wall of disappointment, they can't self-reflect or think about why it is that they thought this new relationship was going to be the most perfect thing that ever happened. They have to blame you. So as the former relationship, they are blaming you for not being perfect. They are blaming you for not staying new and shiny. And that's why they've moved on to somebody else that is now new and shiny, but somebody else that is doomed to let them down the same way that you did. Narcissists cannot get past this initial honeymoon phase in a relationship. Every relationship will always be shallow and superficial from the narcissist's point of view. And this is part of why it is so easy for them to throw relationships away and start new ones. To them, there's no more depth to any human being than there is in a brand new car. And as for the question of, was there anything I could do to stop this? Or maybe you're worried about the things the narcissist is trying to convince you of, things that you should have done better. You can spend a lot of time going over this in your mind, especially if you've been manipulated and brainwashed into thinking that you are this huge disappointment or that you didn't do enough. When you are in an abusive relationship, there is an illusion that you have control of it, that if you had just tried a little harder, that if you had just cleaned the floor with the right brand of soap, or if you had just used the right brand of detergent in the laundry, or if you had just not forgotten to buy milk when you came home, or if you had just not spent that money on those clothes that you went and bought, if you had just not done this or not done that, if you had just tried a little bit harder, then you wouldn't have been abused, you wouldn't have been mistreated. This is a huge problem with abuse and abuse victims, is abusers blame their abusive behavior on the things the victim does. Like, I wouldn't have to get so mad at you if you would just listen, or I wouldn't be so upset if you would just do things the way I've asked you to do. And you can actually believe this because it makes sense. It makes more sense than trying to make sense out of somebody that's just infuriated and enraged for no reason at all. I mean, For normal people, it's really hard to understand how somebody can scream and yell and rant and rave at someone they're supposed to love for no good reason. So it's easier to accept that you must have done something. You must have done something to make this person angry, because why else would they be so angry at you? This is a really long way for me to answer this question of, was there anything you could have done to stop this? Or was there anything that you could have done to make it better or save the relationship? No, you didn't do anything to cause the abuse. Abusers abuse because they are abusive. They do not fly off the handle and become infuriated and enraged because you bought the wrong brand of cereal or you left your shoes on the wrong side of the door. I mean, do you really think that that's where all that anger came from? When it doesn't make sense why they are so angry about stupid little things that don't seem to matter, it's because that's not why they're angry. They're angry because they're angry, infuriated people, and they're trying to find a target to take it out on, trying to find a scapegoat. So was there anything that you could have done to change this? No, because there was nothing that you did to cause it in the first place. There was nothing that you did that made the narcissist decide to discard you and move on to somebody else, other than not being superhuman with magical powers, I guess. What narcissists are searching for when they keep going from one relationship to another and discarding one person and then pretending it's their fault that they weren't satisfied in the relationship, what they're looking for is somebody to solve their emotional problems. Somebody to fill that black hole in their soul, someone to keep that pitcher with a hole in the bottom full all the time. And this is an impossible task. Narcissists are bottomless pits of endless need that no one can ever fulfill, but they will never stop looking for that person that can finally make that draining, empty black hole in their soul go away. They will never stop looking for that person because they refuse to recognize it as a personal problem that they need to try to do something about. It's really the same thing as if you had chronic migraines and this is something that had plagued you your whole entire life, and you went around looking for a relationship in which the person you're with could magically make your migraines go away without you having to do anything. Just you being in this relationship with somebody, okay, this person's gonna make my migraines go away forever, and I'm not even going to tell them that that's what I expect them to do, but it's just going to magically happen. And then when your migraines don't go away, you get angry and blame that person and leave them with no warning or explanation, and then replace them and tell everybody what a terrible, awful disappointment they were. And then, of course, just repeat it all again with the next person, and on and on and on. So, I mean, was there anything you could do to stop this? I mean, I don't know. Are you magic? Do you have magical powers? Can you solve somebody's emotional problems that they can't even acknowledge that they have? Probably not. So if you're dealing with this and you are dealing with the preoccupation, I know that you can get really obsessive thoughts about the new relationship and what's going on and what the narcissist is saying about you and saying to other people. I think that you really just need to accept that this is just really gonna suck for a while. It's really, really painful for some really valid reasons. The relationship might not have been what you thought it was, but the pain in the aftermath is all too real. But this pain, I promise you, is worth getting through. I know it doesn't seem like it when you're in the middle of it, but it is worth getting through that furnace to cross through to the other side where you are free from somebody that would ruin your life this way. You aren't losing anything of real value. You're losing something that you thought had real value. You're losing something that was actually taking from your life. You're losing something that was just costing you things and never giving anything back, no matter how much it seemed like it was giving you something of worth. I think it's really important to, if you can, to go no contact and to really try to avoid the temptation of checking their social media or figuring out other ways of trying to figure out where they are, what exactly is going on, what the status of the relationship is, and what they're saying about you, to really try to cut off all contact and not to even know what's going on, or to know as little as possible. Every piece of information is meant to hurt you, and there's nothing that you get back out of that. So no contact is a really, really powerful tool that will help shorten that really painful window that you need to get through. And I just want to give you some hope, and I want to let you know that if you are in the middle of something like this, that the pain will subside. You will get through this, and it is worth the freedom that you will gain. And one day you will wake up and you will wonder why you spent so much time worrying about somebody that treated you so badly. One day you will wake up and thank yourself for everything that you went through and all the pain that you endured for long enough to give you the peace and happiness that you will wake up and have someday. If you're looking for a way to support my channel and you've been considering professional therapy, BetterHelp is offering 10% off of your first month of service if you sign up using the link below in my description. And if you sign up using the link below in my description, I will get a one-time commission. So that'll help me out, and it'll help you out as well if that's something that you've been thinking about doing. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.